Hey, what's up guys? Clint Coons here, and in this video, you got to ask yourself, does your limited liability company have officer provisions? All right, let's get started. All right, you're probably wondering, what the heck am I talking about? Officer provisions in a limited liability company? You're probably thinking, officers go in corporations. Clint, where are you coming up with this? LLCs, I've watched your videos. There are members and there's managers. You never talk about officers. Well, I have in a few of the videos talked about officers, but I really haven't emphasized it. And I've been getting a lot of questions lately about how to use an LLC when you're setting up the structures the way I recommend so that you have what is called apparent authority. Meaning if you're down at the bank and you're trying to open up a bank account and they're looking at your structure and they're wondering, well, how do we know you're authorized to sign on this LLC? Well, here's a technique that I've been using for several years. It's something that we came up with here at Anderson to help our clients overcome some of the hurdles they faced when they're dealing with third parties. Because when it comes to asset protection, you know, if you watch my other videos, you get this reoccurring theme. I'm all about anonymity. I don't want people to know my business. My business is my business. You're just not going to jump on the Secretary of State's website, find how many entities I own, or go to the county recorder's database and see how many pieces of real estate I own. No, I keep that locked down so people can't discover that, because the more they know about you, the more attractive a potential target you become in the event of a lawsuit. So in a lot of the base structures, the way we're creating these is we're setting up a limited liability company up here. Let's assume that this LLC that we're creating here is a Texas LLC. So we create this Texas limited liability company, and we're going to set it up as a member managed. All right, so we're going to do a member managed here. And the reason why we're doing that is because we want anonymity. We're going to make sure that that member is listed. We'll list our Wyoming LLC down here. So this Wyoming LLC is going to be manager managed. All right, so on the Texas Secretary of State website, if you were to look up this limited liability company, it would state that it's a member managed LLC, and the member manager is this Blue Box Wyoming LLC. Great, that's what we're looking for, because if you were to look up the Blue Box and you would say who's involved with that, no one. So bam, we've done just what we're trying to do. Make sure that third parties can't track this back to us, that they don't need to know this information unless I choose to show this information to them. But the problem comes in sometimes is that when you're trying to sell a piece of property or you're trying to open up a bank account, you walk into the bank and you've got this LLC set up. We say, hey, I need to get an account open. And they're going to pull up that LLC with the Secretary of State. And when they look, they're not going to see your name on there. They're going to say, who the hell are you? And you say, well, this is my LLC. And they'll say, I don't think so. It's owned by a Blue Box. And so you get into this problem where they want to see operating agreements and your name really doesn't appear anywhere in the operating agreement. And so they become uncomfortable. So the solution is that when you're creating an LLC and you're using this strategy, consider placing officer provisions in your operating agreement. State that, yes, this is a member managed LLC, that it's managed by this LLC, but the LLC has the ability to appoint a president, a vice president, a treasurer, or a secretary. So you put these provisions in there and then you specify who's going to be the president. So I've set up LLCs just like this for thousands of clients, even myself. And in this LLC agreement, it'll say Clint is president. And then inside of that operating agreement, it'll state all the powers I have. So as a president, you can give that power to an officer in your LLC. So I have the power to open up bank accounts. I have the power to sell property. I have the power to borrow, things like that, that I can exercise all of that. And here's the best part about it. The officers in a limited liability company, they don't get listed anywhere. There's nothing on the Secretary of State's website that states that Clint's a president in this LLC. If it was a corporation, oh yeah, I'd be all over it. But I don't want to do that. I'm going to use the LLC. I'm going to give myself the anonymity. Then when somebody asks me for my operating agreement to say who's really in charge here, it's going to say Clint's in charge. And then know that that information is not listed with the Secretary of State because it's not required to be listed there. They don't ask for it. So if you've set up a limited liability company, you're using an anonymity structure like I've just shown you, and you're running into some issues in dealing with lenders or third parties because they want to know, hey, who's really in control? Simple solution, guys. Just appoint yourself a president. Just takes a resolution, change your operating agreement to state that you can have officers, and you're off to the races. Hey, hope you learned something from watching this video. A lot of information was packed in here when it comes to using officer provisions. You like it, give me a like, or if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the video and be sure to check back next week where I got some more great videos in store for you. Take care.